Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. Yes, Bridge MCP. Am I tired? Am I tired? Do you think I'm tired? Man, it's half the day is gone already. You know, we trekked down to downtown Houston for our show and trekked back up here to make sure we could have this 3 o'clock show because as we told our people, our posse, the PDR posse, you guys wanted to stay at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock we are, but we still have to get that noon show out at KPFT. But, you know, we do it. We love you. And you know what? We're going to change the world, baby. We're going to change the world. Does a beer... I love that one. Does a beer SHI, you know what, in the woods? Hell yeah. Anyway, welcome Eric Hayes. Welcome Peggy Lopez. ¿Cómo estás? Welcome aboard AVQ. And I saw in the chat, I think I saw Yvette Avery Herod. I think I saw her click in as well. So folks, welcome aboard to all our folks. E2247. Welcome aboard. How's everybody doing today? We had a great show today at KPFT. We expanded on the that piece I did on the CBS News morning news, where the young guy went and said, if those rich billionaires want to know what to do with their money, go ahead and send the check to the Treasury so that we can disperse that money democratically. We had a show on that, and I made it the whole show. Got some great commentary. In fact, one person called in and gave us the opportunity to expand on it. And in expanding on it, I think there's a lot more clarity, including that he left agreeing. He first says, Egberto, I don't think you're right. And he left saying, Eric, of course, was in the house. Eric was, of course, going through the monotony of the indoctrination from the plutocracy. But, you know, there were enough people there to rebuff Eric and let Eric kind of inform Eric on a lot of what was going on. I don't think we can get to Eric because Eric decides that he wants to keep his mind at his it. Yvette Avery, see you, beautiful. See you. Maywood is also in the house. And I think I saluted E2247. And if I'm missing anybody else, go ahead and put stuff in the chat. Anyway, let me say, Eric Hayes says, in your new and improved Harris County jury returns not guilty verdict in case of man accused of killing HPD Sergeant Punk Thug on Facebook bragging on killing. Well, you know something? I think it was a jury of his peers, right? That called him not guilty. Wasn't that the case? The Harris County jury of his peers said he wasn't guilty. What else do you want? You know, I know a reaction with cops. They like to play guns and rubbers, you know, and with all the guns that we have on the streets, we're going to have a lot more of that, Eric. If you want to solve that problem, tell the Republicans in Austin to start regulating guns, because as long as we have a lot of guns on the market, this is what you're going to find. Peggy Lopez says 2 more people die using Tesla autopilot, bringing total fatalities to 16 since June 2021. Wow. Bridge MCP says tired. Yes, ma'am. Eric Hayes says Buffett wealth all in one company, which is pledged so far. Can he be vilified with progressive rhetoric? Of course. I am not vilifying. I didn't vilify Oprah. I didn't vilify Gates. I didn't vilify Elon Musk per se. I vilified a system that allowed them to be parasites. That's what I did. And if you cannot see the distinction where I say the issue is systemic, I can't help you, Eric. I can't help you if you choose not to critically think. I really can't help you. I ask all the listeners of this program not to take what I say at face value, but to critically think it out. And what happens, if you notice how I interview folks, I ask questions and they come up with the answers. And interestingly, most of the answers, because it's logical, usually tend to be progressive, what people like to call progressive, because it's the right answer. Except for ideological issues, numbers rule. All right. Hi, all you progressives. Rush right out and get you one of over 100K. Hope the federal rebate helps you on your quest. What is that? The EV? Oh, I would love to get an EV. All right. Peggy Lopez says, to finish my thought, computers cannot be taught to move to change in situations as well as the human brain. You have to put, we are so behind on artificial intelligence. Eventually, though, Peggy Lopez, the computers will be able to do that and faster than we can. But we're not there yet. We're just not there yet. Please listen, Countdown with Keith Overman. First 16 minutes of the episode 1 through 8. Save this link and use it. Will do, E2247. Thank you. Open that link, scroll down to the bottom where it says load more, keep going to GUI. You reach episode 1, your time will not be wasted. Okay, I'll take your thoughts on that. Let's see what else we got here. Maywood says good afternoon. Yvette says afternoon. PDR Posse, save this one to use it, expressing good health as you do so. Will do, sir. You have a lot of research for me to do. Let's see what else we got. Peggy Lopez says, Breach MCP, they're glad we are here today. I am surprised that there have not been more deaths from driverless cars. The thought of big trucks not having drivers, horrifying. But it's coming. You know, it's called efficiency. Get rid of human beings, you know. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. Okay. Let's see what else. Eric Hayes says, you call them punk thugs in suits. No. I call CEOs and those guys. That's what I call them. And because that's what they do. Anybody who took money out of the pockets of a mother who's feeding her kid and now have to buy gas to get to work, they are thugs. I don't take any of that back. All those Wall Streeters who are increasing prices that's causing people to suffer are thugs. They're no better than that petty, they're actually worse than that petty thief who's stealing a cigarette or stealing a candy bar. I don't take that back, Eric. I'm proud to say it. They are thugs. Not because they're wearing suits mean they're not thugs and criminals. Selfish. Don't let me get there. I don't talk about that except to those people in power. Mike Cisak says, Egberto, we never take what you say at face value since most of us, it is just bluster. No, what I say has nothing to do with bluster. What I say is statements of facts. Now, I'd ask you not to take it at face value because I want folks to learn to think critically. In other words, you go out there and don't listen to what I say and say, well, Egberto said that. No. Go out there and corroborate what I say. And then when you corroborate it and have gained enough respect, then you can say, well, since Egberto said it's most likely true, but still verify every so often. E2247 says, takes a while to open, but it works. And it's a short link. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Eric Hayes says, Rodney Ellis, the ringleader of Harris County. Okay. All right. Egberto, my favorite part of your interview always comes at the end when you ask if there's anything you wanted to talk about that wasn't mentioned. Anyone watch your show know the question is coming? Anyone who don't have to think for a minute. I hear you, brother. I hear you. LOL. I didn't villainize the parasites. No, I think that by definition, that's what they are, right? It's just a statement of fact. A parasite is something who takes and never gives back. A parasite is something that sucks on you and kills you. Can't even see his own hypocrisy summarized in one sentence. No, it's not hypocritical at all. It's factual. AI is dangerous, period, taking people's job and indoctrination our kids. Oh boy. You are using AI right now. When you're on your computer, you're using AI, just not a well-developed AI yet. Michael Sousa says, liars. Who are liars? I don't know. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, they are CEOs. They are thugs. Eric Hayes says, think literally. All right, Michael Ronan says, just remember, corporate crimes just from wage theft exceeds all petty crime put together. Heck, just minimum wage violations exceed all petty crimes put together. Thank you, sir. I love that. Anyway. You know, you want to see what crimes look. Oh, well, let me read Breach first. During the rambling hour-long speech on Tuesday, Fox News cut away from Donald Trump 2024 presidential campaign announcement after approximately 40 minutes. The conservative news organization, which regularly promoted Trump's policies and hosts his speeches while he was president, cut away from the live remarks in favor of commentary about former president's third bid for office. I don't know why would anybody want to sit down and listen to a litany of lies from somebody who has the values of, at best a rapist, But anyhow, Herschel Walker is pissed off at the Republican Party. Herschel Walker is pissed off. Check this out. The pilfer is real. The pilfer is bad. The grift that Donald Trump and certain Republicans have on ripping off their followers, ripping off their supporters is bad. When Herschel Walker calls out and say, hey, Republicans, stop being deceptive and raising money on me and just giving me 10 cents on the dollar. Let folks know that you're only giving me a pittance, man. It is amazing. Check this out, this report on MSNBC. Then we'll take it on the other side. Because I tell you, these guys have been doing some good digging. Love it. Check this out.
Republicans are sending out fundraising emails now asking Republican voters to, quote, help save America by getting behind Herschel Walker in his December 6th runoff election. But what's not immediately clear to recipients of those emails is how little of that money actually goes to Walker's campaign, just 10 cents on the dollar. Walker's campaign is now asking fellow Republicans to stop such fundraising practices, or at least to start sharing more with the candidate himself. The campaign said it first noticed the problem when former President Trump's Save America PAC sent out an email asking prospective donors to, quote, contribute any amount immediately to the official Georgia runoff fundraising goal and increase your impact by 1,200%. But if donors did not see a link that said click here for details or to edit allocation, they would not have noticed that 90% of their contributions automatically went to Trump, with the remaining 10% going to Walker. After that 90-10 ratio was highlighted on social media, Trump's committee changed the allocation to a 50-50 split. Emails from other political committees eventually defaulted, though, to 90-10 divisions as well. Joe, this speaks to what we've been talking about this morning and for many, many months, which is that the money that comes in and it looks like it's going to a bigger cause, maybe Stop the Steal rally, or to Republican candidates, actually is just finding its way into Donald Trump's pocket.
Now, again, you have to ask yourself the question, and by the way, this is not just something that Republicans do. All these fund drives do this kind of a stuff, right? Unfortunately, those small operations like Politics Done Right and so forth, we are always honest when we say, could you provide XYZ to support the show? But these guys, they have mailing lists that they just give, they just throw out there with the expectation of getting the gullible ones to give them. Folks, the truth of the matter is you shouldn't even be given to those guys because you don't know where. Let me tell you something that really irked me, because while I was doing a whole lot of work as a board member of the Coffee Party, I tell you how a lot of this money actually goes. You get some consultants in Washington or the capital cities of the states that these guys work. They don't have a clue of how it is to talk to the common person. And their fees are $10,000 for a contract, $15,000 for a contract, $50,000 for a contract, right? And your money, right, goes out there to pay them plus whoever is heading the fund. Then you have the small operators, the small media guys like us, being honest, trying to really get support for doing the right thing. And it's that much more difficult. It irks you. And I'm sorry for getting personal here, but it irks you when these guys rip the supporters off, when there are good people out there trying to do a good work of informing, trying to get a good work of activating people. They have a hard time because the big guys out there are ripping so many off. What gives? If Herschel Walker is complaining, you understand how bad the grift really is, how bad the pilfer it really is, how bad the thievery really is. So, self-serving, but support us little guys before you support those guys where they're throwing your money into Trump's pocket or the pocket of a whole bunch of consultants. Absolutely so, folks. Absolutely so. Okay, let's see. What have we got here now? What have we got here? Just remember corporate crimes. I read that one already. Breach says, no. Eric says, Ellis served in the Texas Senate from 1990 to 2016 and earned a career F rating from his votes on spending state taxpayer monies. Who graded him? Who graded him? And why should we believe it? Come on now. E2247 says, Breach, I use Dogpile search engine and enter search string as countdown with Keith Olbermann. All right. Michael Rodden says, Trump's presidential announcements has one purpose, to make any future criminal charges have the appearance of politicization. Trump's got a deal with New York going after his financial crimes, Georgia going after his subordination of election fraud, and D.C. after incitement of insurrection. Trump's one play is delay, but it won't work. I think he wants to delay until he dies, All right. Eric says, Alexander Trantanafis, Hidalgo's chief of staff, previously worked at Baker Ripley Community Developers. Okay. This is an organization that Ellis has an indirect connection with. Oh, Lord. You poor man. All right. Breach says people are so ignorant. I know. Let's see. Peggy Lopez says child labor in America is real. Dozens of kids, including a 13-year-old with caustic chemical burns, are pictured working as slaughterhouse cleaners at Nebraska and Minnesota. Thug bosses. That's what I want. What I want people to start, they love to refer. Hey, the Senate defeated the filibuster, so therefore we're going to get a vote on same-sex marriage. All right. We have here child labor in America. I read that one. If Democrats in the 51st, if Democrats have 51 in the Senate, takes the power away from Sinema and Manchin and puts the focus on Republican obstructionism in the House of Reps, and you know what's coming. Yes, we do. All right. Daniel Edo replying, so true, most of it willful. I just don't know how to break through the ideology and lies. Huh? Not sure what that is all about. I don't know what that one is all about, so I'll let that one slide. All right, let's see what else we got. ATL checking in. Paul Fleming is in the house, as is Robert Brother Davenport in the house. Great to see you guys. Carl Cox is also in the house. Bridge MCP says, Peggy L., a Department of Labor probe has discovered oppressive child labor practices at Nebraska and Minnesota slaughterhouses owned by JBS, the company behind Certified Angus Beef and other brands. Investigation about 31 children and 13 to 17 workers for clearance of contractors, Packers Sanitation Services at JBS plant in Grand Island, Nebraska, and Worthington, Minnesota, and at Turkey Valley Farms in Marshall, Minnesota. The youths worked overnight shifts cleaning dangerous powered equipment, officials said, leading to one 13-year-old girl underage working to suffer caustic chemical burns. The Department of Labor has asked the District Court in Nebraska to impose a nationwide restraining order against PSSI to stop them from illegally employing minors. All right. Davenport says, greetings, everyone. Eric Hayes says, Egberto and Left got more material for Orange Man. Congrats. Oh, wow. We got a lot more material from Orange Man. What can I say, man? Kind of like that, right? No, I don't. Carl Cox says Herschel Walker is the original village idiot. No, I think George W. Bush was, but he is coming in a close second. Well, that's not true. Herschel, why would I even lie like that? Herschel Walker is a lot worse than George Bush. George Bush had some sense. Herschel has none. I don't know if he got too many hits in the head or not. But Herschel is just, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. All right, Eric Hayes says that marriage is legal. Leave it as is. Oh, Lord. You don't get it. Let's see what I said. Donna, is that Donna? Oh, Donna Beeler. Welcome aboard. Hannity's show ended. What? What do you mean by Hannity's show ended? I don't believe that. All right, Paul Fleming says some of the people tried to leave before Trump announced his run-in for president, but was stopped by... Yeah, I know. People were heading out of Dodge. And what happened? The Secret Service says, no, you can't leave. We need to make this place seem like it's full. All right, let's see what else we got. Michael Rudnan says, Eric Hayes, the thing about marriage rights, we need to codify the legality of interracial marriages and remove any gender requirements. Exactly. Herschel versus Fetterman. Who wins? Oh, even with a stroke, Fetterman makes Herschel look like what he is. Likely the dumbest politician that's going to be in that could have been in Washington, but I'm pretty sure won't be. And the reason he won't be is that all the people that had to hold their nose to vote for him, they're going to say, oh my God, we already lost the Senate. Why even put him in there? Let's wait to get somebody worthwhile. Because that's going to be an embarrassment for Georgia for a long time, from time to come. Donis Gerglow says 13 is too young to work, period. I hear you, girl. I hear you. And you know what? Estás correcta. You're absolutely right. Wait, Donis? That's a guy's name, right? Forgive me if I said it wrong. I think Donis is a male name. I hadn't heard Donis before, and for some reason I tied Donis to Doris. So forgive me if I have the gender wrong. I never do that on purpose. Carl Cox says Fox News and Newsmax are crying about Republicans not sweeping in 2022 off your election. Hey, they didn't have a message. How long have we been saying that again? Paul Fleming says Alabama diverted $400 million in COVID funds to build 3 prisons. And I also think that you were telling me, Paul, that we need to make sure and remind everybody that Brett Favre, for all practical purposes, figuratively, or maybe literally, took $1 million from poor people that he was undeserving of. It's cool. Man, I figured it was. Sorry about that, brother. Sorry about that. Forgive me. All right, Donna Beeler says, what? Walker wins the intelligence issue easy. Oh, no. No. All right. All right, what else we got here? All right, let's go to what time is it? All right, it is time for the second video. This one is about, well, let me cue it up this way. Donald Trump announced that he was going to run for president again. And you know how he did it? He all but held people hostage at, where is it? Mar-a-Lago, I think, where he did it. Held them hostage when they were trying to leave the room. They had to stay because he had an announcement to make. But you know what? Von Hilliard wasn't too kind.
Usually if you, Willie, or if I were to throw a party, you usually invite your friends and family that you've met along the way. And that is what was striking last night. It didn't exactly feel like a presidential announcement. Not only was Ivanka Trump and Don Jr. not there, but there was obvious absence of Mike Pence, of the likes of Kellyanne Conway, Ronna McDaniel. You can go up and down the list of folks that we were used to seeing for 6 years at Trump rallies, Trump events. And yet those figures were not there. There was not a single U.S. senator, not a single Republican U.S. senator at that event last night. There was 2 members of Congress, one being Madison Cawthorn, who is on his way out, and then Troy Nehls, congressman out of Texas. Those were the only elected Republicans up on Capitol Hill that made their way down to Washington, D.C. for the announcement of their former president making a third bid for the White House. It was a different feeling in that room. And kind of put the context, Donald Trump has a history of trying to play mental jiu-jitsu when he talks about the past and his time as president of the United States. Just, when he was talking about his 4 years in office, his quote was, quote, "Our nation was at the pinnacle of power, prosperity, and prestige, towering above all rivals, vanquishing all enemies." Of course, you guys, we all lived through those 4 years. I wouldn't say that it would exactly match that description that he gave up on stage. But the other issue was he was intending to run this 2024 campaign largely on the premise of the rallies of his 22 campaigns, in which he stood alongside those down ballot candidates for U.S. Senate, governor, secretary of state. But clearly the voters did not view the country to be in a dark enough place to vote for these Republicans around the country, where, to read you another quote from last night, he suggested that citizens will, quote, "very soon see that I have no doubt by 2024 it'll be much worse, and they'll see much more clearly what happened and what is happening." Republicans thought that they had the issues on their side, from inflation to the record number of migrants on the U.S. border to Joe Biden's approval ratings, and yet it clearly was not bad enough for Republicans to win these midterm elections. And if I could, the last kind of the juxtaposition of all this is somebody who was standing outside the Capitol on January 6th, 2021. It is something less than 2 years later to be standing here, and after knowing what we know, that the president did not call for backup at the Pentagon when the U.S. Capitol was being attacked, with his vice president and the entire U.S. Congress inside when thousands converged here. This is also happening in the midst of a trial in which his company is facing tax fraud charges. This is also coming in the midst in which he and his kids are facing a civil lawsuit, which could potentially financially cripple the family. All of this is happening in real time.
In other words, the thug announces that he wants to run the United States of America again. It doesn't matter how much he has already stolen. It doesn't matter that he had a hotel that all the foreign dignitaries came in, paid a whole lot of money as bribes to the hotel so that, they could get what they want out of Donald Trump. It is amazing. All the people who once supported Donald Trump are gone. Not even his daughter and son-in-law appeared at the place. Imagine your own relatives, your own family is not there. And we have the sycophants who still supports this man. We have to love on these people. We have to give these people a place to land. We have to surely make them see that you don't have to hold on to Trump. Come on. We want you here with open arms. Let bygones be bygones. You have a place to land. That's what I really want from the depths of my heart to tell my Trump sycophants. Really. You have a place to go. You're better than that. You are better than that. All right, let's see what we got here. Eric, do you know that the idea of buying an electric auto is not a progressive idea? Don't you know? Neither is the climate crisis. It is simply it's simply a more serious problem facing the world right now. And electric cars are coming because they make sense. It's the manufacturer who are going to that way. You know what is interesting, Maywood? If ideology is a dangerous thing, it can cause you to be less than intelligent, in as much as you're an intelligent person. And that is what our brother Eric is going through. He's a smart guy. It's amazing to me how poorly he comes across, because ideology can make you stupid. It's shameful, right? When you go out, when you have an ideology that tells you the earth is 6,000 years old, and you have a whole bunch of evangelicals before that place went bankrupt, run into the ark that they built because the world is only 6,000 years old. How do you answer that? And the reason they don't want critical thinking is because if you can critical think about one thing, you can critically think about everything. And the conservative methodology depends on keeping its people dumb. Oops, I shouldn't say that. It depends on keeping its people uninformed. That's what I should say. All right, let's see. Bridge MCP. Ad blockers might be stopping the knockout link. I use both Lap and Galaxy Android to get countdown with Kate Overman. I do not use called smartphone. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I didn't understand that. Eric Hayes, when talking about Orange Man bad, there's his ongoing financial crimes that New York is prosecuting, as well as what happened following 2020 election. Georgia, where Trump subpoenaed election fraud, and in D.C., where Trump incited insurrection. If anyone did as much harm as Trump has done, they'd already be in prison and numerous trials to sort out the damage. I agree. Anyways, really hope you find the Knockout podcast. It's a daily on weekday show. I'll try to look for it. All right. Let's see. Mike Cizek says Vaughn Hilliard was lying through his teeth. Really? How comes you know that? Vaughn Hilliard is at Mar-a-Lago and you are in Kentucky. How did you figure out that he's lying? What do you know that he doesn't be in there? Interesting, Cizek. All right, Rachel, Robert Davenport says, a party with no platform is a party with no clue. You Republic clowns are clueless. Wake up, become loyal Americans. Again, support democracy, support the Democratic Party agenda. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, the thug is now going to give Egberto and the left more material. Don't forget, SNL now, they have something to write from. Oh, wow. Therefore, Eric Hayes does acknowledge that Donald Trump is a thug. Thank you, Eric. Improvement, sir. Improvement, sir. Improvement, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Trump may not want to be president. He's vindictive enough to want to turn his private militia loose in the streets of this country to get even with all of us. Well, he can try it. They'll be gunned down. Let's see. Bridge MCP says YouTube, Robert Davenport. Oh, I got that already. Trump thinks by running he won't be charged, but that's not the case. Nope, he will be charged. He will be charged. Let's see what else we have here. Michael Rudnan says, the earth is 5 minutes old, reformed every moment by an all-knowing God, and there's nothing you can say to prove otherwise. Same line of thinking as young earth creationists. Amazing. All right. Carl Cox says, Orange Thug wants the vote election victory to continue his assault on American democracy. Mike Cizek says, leftists don't want people to use critical thinking. It's why they target ignorant, young, and desperate people as their supporters. Let's be clear. The young are not ignorant. They are much ahead of most of the adults, to tell you the truth. All right. Donna Beeler says, Maywood, $. Daniel Lado says, that is a lie. All conservatives I know prefer critical thinking. Every single one. So what am I missing here, Daniel Lado? Critical thinking would put you, critical thinking tells you that you cannot have healthcare in a for-profit system and expect it to be efficient. You cannot have that because critical thinking would tell you that what the market says is they will do whatever is necessary. The maximization of profits for the shareholder. Madre mia, critical think, sir. Paul Fleming says 30K EVs will be in the market in 2023. Please read and follow the news, EV and car and driver. Michael Rudnin says, Eric Hayes, I don't drive. All right. New York is irrelevant. So is Georgia. On Bad Orange Man, he is not being listed. I don't know what that says. All right. Egberto, using your terminology only. Well, good. Then you're making progress, sir. Thank you so kindly. All right. Before I go further, raising interest rates is not the answer. Okay? I repeat, raising interest rates is not the answer. Read the article, but I have some more to expound on that article. It's important. Our inflation has two components, as described by our great Congresswoman, Katie Porter. Katie Porter points out that about just less than half of the inflation was caused by the supply chain issues increase in wages, etc. The other half was just, or more than half, was corporate executive just saying, we are going to overcharge because we can. That alone tells you that increasing interest rates are simply penalizing the average American citizen when the people who should be penalized are the ones raising the prices above and beyond their cost, their increased cost. That is the corporate executives and the corporations' profits. That should be taken away in the form of taxes and redistributed to those they stole it from with those unwarranted raised prices. But by increasing interest, what the feds are doing is charging you and me to pay for the ills of the rich corporations. They continue to take money until they get demand destruction, meaning people slow down on buying their products, and forces them to reduce the price. So in effect, the Federal Reserve is forcing these people to drop their prices by hurting the average American citizen. They shouldn't do that. They should say, you have 1 day to drop your prices. You don't drop your prices, we will increase the taxes based on the amount of profit delta you have. And for all that people have been paid to you, we will give them a refund on the thuggery that you charged when you increase prices, especially right after a pandemic. Watch how quickly things get better. Watch how quickly things get better. Okay? Daniel, obviously, you know any conservatives? That is funny. Deborah Moyer says, Egberto is a great example of critical thinking. Thank you. Thank you, my dear, beautiful Deborah Moyers. Peggy Lopez wants Katie Porter for president, 2024. Measured Constraint says, e-bikes, if you're in a place, you can use one. You know what? I thought about the e-bikes. I don't want one. Let me tell you why I don't want one. I want to get the exercise from going up those hills, whatever hills I can find here in Houston, which is usually an overpass or something like that. I want the exercise. But for older folk, those e-bikes are great. Michael Rodney says, Egberto, windfall profit tax would solve a lot of problems with our broken economic system. So would higher top marginal tax rate as well. And I tell you one other one, Senor Rodney, that's very important. Increase Social Security tax to cover all wages. If we did that, everybody's Social Security taxes will drop because people just don't understand the amount of wealth in this country. They just don't get it. And I mean, what we're going to tax is we're going to tax income, dividends, and carried interest and capital gains. That is what we need to do going forward. Egberto agreed. Social Security taxes are capped at $118,000. What else we got here? Eric Hayes says, well, that's not for me. But anyhow, let's see what else we got here. So again, we have to be cognizant. Mike Cisak says the only useful clean energy is advanced nuclear energy. No, that's not at all. Thank you, Deborah. She says a great teacher as well. All right. We have one more video to show. What time is it? Yeah, I got time. We're going to talk about Biden. The young people, first of all, I want to give you kudos for re-electing or not, for making sure that the Senate remained in Democratic hands. And in the process of doing that, you ensure that Biden can continue to remake the courts. And in that light, I want to go ahead and play this piece where it shows you the kind of rebuilding of our entire court system Biden will have a big part in doing over the next 2 years. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Because the courts, they can get complicated, and the people the president picks to the courts obviously make rulings, not just at the Supreme Court, but on the federal level below that affect your life, your actual life, right? Especially if you care about stuff like gun reform, immigration, voting access, LGBTQ plus rights. NBC's Sahil Kapoor is here with us. We asked him to post up at the big board to help us make sense of all this. Sahil, you're calling this a low-key success for the Biden administration. So TLDR, what does Dem control of the Senate mean for the future of the judiciary?
Hallie, it's one of the most important things a president does, and Joe Biden has had a lot of success over 2 years at rapidly appointing federal judges to the courts. Now that Democrats have clinched the Senate for another 2 years, he will get at least another 2 years to continue that project of reshaping the courts. Now, what kind of an impact has the president had on the courts so far? Let's start by looking at the composition of judges that he has appointed. 75% are women, 25% black, 17% Hispanic, 15% Asian Americans. Now, these are historic numbers, and I'll show you why. This is the current composition of the courts. The bright dots are female judges. The clear dots are male judges. 70% of the courts today are men. Now the racial ethnic composition, 78% of judges are white. Now there's a steep drop-off that you see to judges who are black, Hispanic, and Asian American. The White House's argument and the argument of their Democratic allies is that these numbers don't look like America, and they believe the federal courts should reflect the diversity of the country as a whole. Now, the numbers, keep your eyes on the red bars here. These are the apples to apples over the first 2 years of every president in the 21st century. Joe Biden outpacing his predecessors so far, outpacing George W. Bush, outpacing Barack Obama. This number with Trump 84 to 84, Biden's number is about to go up to 85 because the Senate just confirmed another judge that President Biden can appoint very soon. Now, these columns are important. This is the breakdown of district court judges, appeals court judges, and Supreme Court justices appointed by each of these presidents. I want to draw attention to this column. It's enormously important because appeals court judges have the last word on most matters of federal law. The vast majority of cases never even make it to the Supreme Court, and it's these judges that have the last say on where these cases go. Compare Biden's number, 25, to Trump's number, 54. He's roughly matching Donald Trump's pace, what he was able to do over 4 years with what Biden is able to do here over 2 years. The Supreme Court justices, this is the bar that people pay the most attention to, Hallie. You saw Bush and Obama each got 2 Supreme Court justices. Donald Trump got 3 Supreme Court justices over 4 years, managed to create the most conservative Supreme Court in a century. So far, Joe Biden has gotten 1 Supreme Court justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who of course made history as the first black woman on the courts. Now, a lot of this is Democrats playing catch up after Republicans under Donald Trump in a Republican-led Senate had enormous success at rapidly confirming young conservative judges who reshaped the courts in a very different way. Let's have a look at the judicial vacancies right now. There's 76 on district courts, 9 on appeals courts. These numbers are guaranteed to grow as more and more judges retire, as more and more judges take senior status. It's only a question of how big the numbers will grow to, and Democrats will have the ability to confirm as many judges as they want to these vacancies. Now, one big question on the minds of many people, Hallie, is will there be another Supreme Court vacancy in the next 2 years? We don't know the answer to that. We're not expecting that in the current moment. But before the midterm election, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, had not committed to allowing a vote for a potential Biden Supreme Court nominee. Now he's not going to have the power to stop it. It will be Democrats and Chuck Schumer that will be very motivated to fill a Supreme Court vacancy should President Biden get one.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Anyway, Michael Ronan said, correction, some slightly good news. 2023 Social Security wage cap jumps to $160,000 for payroll taxes. I thought the 118 was kind of dated, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't make a mention of it. Peggy Lopez says, does the e-bike come with 3 wheels? If so, I might replace my 2005 Chevy. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you can get a motorbike with 3 wheels. Paul Fleming says, when give billions to other countries during a war, just imagine what our money could do for us. I agree 100%. Eric Hayes says, no loan payoff from taxpayers. Oh, really? So should we also not do the cleanups and so forth that to clean up the mess that Exxon and all these other corporations have done? I mean, should we also not pay the bills of the people that these corporations infected and who are now left with paying their own medical bill? Should we start suing corporations since we don't want to give loans? We don't want to pay off student loans. We shouldn't want to pay off the debt of corporations that they've left in the form of ill and sick people either. So we should start suing corporations whose products have screwed Americans. I love that. Thank you for that. Eric Hayes. I'll start thinking about a way for us to convince everybody that it's time to sue all these corporations. Dennis E. Gogan says, more Democrats are judge are needed. I agree 100%. Michael Rudnan says, the question of equity versus stratification is a major difference between the policy of two parties. Agree. Michael Rudnan also says, the question of equity versus stratification is a major difference. Oh, I read that already. This is so insulting to every race. Daniel Ledo think it is insulting to try to make a Supreme Court that looks like America. Why isn't it insulting to have not to make a whole judiciary look like America? Why is it not insulting to have had a judiciary that does not look like America? Why is it not insulting? Why don't you see that is something wrong when you see a judiciary mostly made up of one particular sect of people? That is what's insulting. You see how we redefine words? That's what we like to do. It doesn't play here at Politics Done Right, my brothers and sisters. Measured Constraint says the blast radius for nuclear energy plants has recently been substantially reduced. Where were they wrong? They reduced it because they want to say, maybe nuclear energy is the answer. We need to do a whole lot more before. Bruce Pollard is in the house. Welcome, Bruce. How are you doing today? VQ says, measured constraints. Nuclear power plants are unlikely to ever explode. If you look at thorium molten salt reactors, those are fail safe. Yes, they are, and the but is still storage. The explication was on MNBC about an hour ago. Egberto, thanks for putting it up so quickly. I had to do it, baby. I had to do it. Maywood says from Michael Rudden, every case when talking about Orange Man bad, there is ongoing financial crimes that New York is prosecuting. I'm going to finish that one because we're running out of time. Biden could unpack the court, one Supreme Court justice for each appellate court. I kind of like that. And there are 13 appellate courts. That means we should put 4 more justices onto the Supreme Court. I agree with that. Bruce Pollard says, just give the money wasted on election publicity to hungry people. Bruce, you're too darn smart. That's right. Robert Davenport says, the ask. Oh, I forgot. Thank you. Let's go ahead and do my ask before we run out of time. Here it is, my dear people. Politics Done Right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet seeded with blogs and information to counter the right and to present what progressives represent for the benefit of us all to everybody so that it's not misled by any other entity. We make sure and populate that internet with blogs, with videos, with all these other things to make sure that we are informed and to counter everything that you normally hear that are lying at the right. We also make sure to create articles in magazines, articles in newspapers, all around the country to ensure, again, that our message gets out there. Last but not least, we also write books. As you see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom, How to Make America Utopia, are 2 of the many books that I've written on these issues. So please support us in one of many ways. Numero uno, you can support us at PayPal, either one time or monthly. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can support us on Patreon. That is politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. You can support us by becoming a part of our YouTube channel, going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, or you can support us in many other forms that you can find at politicsdoneright.com/support. Be sure to visit our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. Absolutely so, folks. And you know what? I forgot to tell you guys. Let me put it in here right now. CTPS politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Let me tell you what I decided to do with the Substack going forward. Let me make sure I spell that right. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Okay, here we go, folks. Please remember, go to the Substack, the Politics Done Right. Well, actually, it's Egberto on the Run Substack, on the Record Substack, is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is when I think I'm going to start putting out the new Substack. And the idea is it's to cover the show that we are going to do on, or rather, I'll cover the newsletter on the program we do on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at noon at KPFT. Sedeoan says garbage. Okay. If you're going to type just garbage, why don't you just go ahead and tell us what specifically is the garbage? I mean, I love critique. Egberto Willis, you keep pushing these eyes off air. You're gonna make them worse. Always on PC, phone on reading, etc. You keep pushing those eyes off air. You're gonna make them worse. Always on PC, phone and reading, etc. Bridge, I don't know if my mind is not working right, but what are you telling me there again? Explain, please. I want to hear your word, girlfriend. I want to hear what you got to say, but I don't understand exactly what you're saying there. So kind of simplify it for me. I'm getting old now. Wear your glasses, 9 meant on air. Okay, beautiful. You want me to wear my glasses? Just for you, Bridge. Bridge, is this okay for you, Bridge? Bridge, is this okay for you? I have it on now, Bridge. Oh, God. If we weren't the same age, I'd say she's acting like my mother. All right, let's go ahead and continue. All right, let's see. What did I miss? Okay, Measure Constraint says those reactors don't exist, but in the labs, the ideas are older than me. The materials to scale and then run for them is still decades don't exist. Let's see what else we got here. Center for Biological Diversity. This is from Michael Rudnin. Since 1996, pipeline accidents have spilled an average of 76,000 barrels per year. I hear you. Than 3 million gallons. This is equivalent to 200 barrels every day. Eric Hayes, I won't read that one yet. That is between Reeves and that. Let's see what else. House Democrats leads change to bar Trump from office. I saw that. Change citing 14th Amendment. That's from Peggy Lopez. Tammy Smith, welcome aboard. I am sorry, but if the color and gender is the only concern, then putting people into any office or any job, really, then you are ignorant. The best and most educated person should fill these spots, period. Our country is going to hell. Tammy Smith, let me correct something, okay? Let's see how much time I got. I got 2 minutes. Tammy, the issue about making the court look like America is twofold. Let's explain here. This is very important. The court in the past, most of the court you would see, the people who get on the court were white men. And that is because of our patriarchy and our racist past, okay? You may not want to accept that, but that's a fact. Now, there has always been competent people of every stride, women, men, black, white, Asian, and everything in between that's been competent. But whenever we're given these positions, they have not, too many times haven't even been considered. Now, bring in diversity to a court system. Put in a lot of nuances to issues that are sprawling. If you want to get good judgment, the laws are not just the written law is not enough. If you doubt it, look at our Constitution. The written law was not enough. It had to be changed periodically because of all the errors the founding fathers made. There's nothing country going to hell about this, Tammy Smith. I ask you to simply be more objective. And Bridge says it right. There's only one race, human race. Absolutely so. And I don't believe in race, but we are in a racialized society. And in doing so, we have to take those parameters into consideration. Deborah Moyer says, where I live, you have a lot to test drive them before salespeople will sell it to you. Also, some kinds need to be licensed. I think we're talking about electric cars. I don't know. All right, Daniel Ledo is between somebody else. Keep pressuring Garland to get his job done. I agree. Let's see what else we have. Replying to Tammy said, notice how it's a science to them to get the exact right myth. It's a pathological. I bet. Put it this way. The same people that are complaining when we're trying to say let's have some balance. If you see something filled with just women or just filled with minorities, you're the same people that come and say, oh, your guys are being prejudiced against white men, or you guys are being prejudiced against something. It's amazing, the inconsistency. We just want honesty. Egberto, while you keep pushing those eyes off air. Okay, got you. I get what you mean now. All right. I got baskets. Measured says I got baskets. Mine's a simple grocery getter and fun to ride. You go. Measured constraints. What else have I got here? Oh wow, Egberto. I am old enough to be your mother, and I have filled that role a time or two. We'll probably do it again. Thank you, Mom. You know I love you, and you know you always you straightened me out quite a few times. Yes, you have. So have Bridge. She's bad. All right. Paul Fleming says the Mormon Church announced that it supports same-sex legislation. Really? Wow. That's a shocker. My mother is a Mormon. Egberto Willis, there is only one race. I read that one already. Deborah Moyer says people of color are also intelligent human beings. All folks are intelligent. All folks are intelligent. A lot of people don't like to take that into account. Let's see. Carl Cox, Democratic Party leadership needs to listen to Sanders, Warren, AOC, and Porter and fight hard to the bottom 99%. Whoop, whoop, you have that right. Sidan says like the NFL. Okay, sure. I agree with you there. Okay. Eric Hayes says balance will come in blocking things. We'll see. AVQ, the NFL would be improved by coaches being able to challenge any bad field ref call. Agreed. Daniel Edo replying to Michael Cisak, Maywood, the right at least lies about reality, the leftists about reality itself. That makes no sense, but I imagine to him it does. But it's 4 o'clock, folks. I want to thank you guys for all being here. Please continue spreading the word. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.